All right, so Proverbs 6, verses 6 through 11 says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man." So we see that um, this was used to kind of paint a picture, right? So we see that the ant has no boss, needs no reminders, doesn't wait for motivation, and stays focused on what needs to be done. That focus word. So when it comes to the ant, and what God was trying to say is that nobody should have to chase you to do what God has called you to do. You shouldn't need constant encouragement to stay consistent. Focus means you move even when nobody is watching. Now, of course, you have days where you don't feel the best or you can't always give 100% all the time. But like it says, nobody should have to chase you to do it. Like, of course, sometimes we need encouragement, but it shouldn't be an ongoing thing. So we see that ants are creatures of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. They aren't strong, but, well, I already said that. They store up their food all summer. They are strategic and wise. That's very important, strategic and wise. Focus is not about strength, it's about consistency, getting those reps in. We also talked about that on Monday. You may feel weak, but you can still be disciplined. You may feel tired, but you can still be consistent. And like I said before, you don't have to give 100% every single day. Maybe today you can only give 50%, you can only give 60, 70. You know yourself. Just a little bit a day goes a long way. It's important to build up those reps no matter what. No matter what you're doing, whatever it is, consistency is key. So that's also how you prepare before the pressure shows up as well, getting those reps in. So in Genesis chapter 6, Noah's assignment from God was simple in instruction, but massive in responsibility. He was called by God to build an ark before a great flood destroyed the earth because of its wickedness. God chose Noah because he was righteous and trusted him, even when nobody else listened. Noah was instructed to warn the people, protect his family, and preserve life by bringing animals into the ark. Through his obedience, Noah became the vessel God used to carry his family and the future of humanity safely through judgment into a new beginning. And then we see in Moses' story, his assignment was to lead God's people, the Israelites, out of slavery in Egypt and guide them towards the promised land. God called Moses from the burning bush and chose him to confront Pharaoh, deliver his people, and teach them God's laws. Even though Moses felt unqualified and afraid, he obeyed God and became a powerful leader, intercessor, and prophet. His assignment was not just about freeing people physically, but also helping them learn how to trust, worship, and follow God. So, between these two stories, what ways do you guys think, or have they shown divine focus? How has divine focus been displayed in these two different stories or scenarios?
I'll just say briefly, even though it was a large assignment, a difficult assignment, they didn't give up or let it scare them away. And I'll also say, especially in Noah's case, even when the people did not believe that that's what they should be doing, um, Noah didn't let that deter him. He still focused on what the assignment that God gave him, what God told him to do.
Yes, go ahead, Morning.
Um, Piggybacking off of what Kawana said, with those big projects, when God does give you an assignment, the fact that they had to stay laser focused, um, and I know it was probably overwhelming because not only do you have the naysayers and no support, you also are looking like, I am not fit for this job. Like, it's so many more people qualified. It's so many more people that deserve to be in this position. Like, I'm not even on a resume. Like, it's a landslide. So I think outside of the outside voices trying to convince people, it's almost trying to like sell somebody something.
Mm-hmm.
And they like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Having to do that part, let the people know, be obedient, and you trusting like who God says you are. You know, sometimes we have those like overwhelming moments, like, I'm just me, like, why me? And so I feel like, in spite of their own thoughts about themselves and feelings about the project and dealing with the rejection of the community, it took to have a lot of focus. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. Could you imagine not being an architect, not being a developer, not being a construction person? You're just a regular person with flaws, and he tells you to build this huge arc in a certain amount of days and let the people know what's happening. That's like insane. And you standing up there with these laws, like, this is what God said, and they looking at you like, are you serious? And you trying to convince people like, I'm not crazy, I'm not drunk, I'm not high, like, this is for real. That's a lot. That's a lot of ridicule. So it
Yeah.
took major focus.
Yes, thank you guys for sharing. But I also kind of highlighted it as well. That's why I'm trying to see who's paying attention. So we see that Noah teaches us that sometimes your assignment won't make sense to everybody, but obedience can save generations. And even with Moses, he felt unqualified and afraid, but still he obeyed God. He stayed laser focused. Like, he's like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm focused on the journey, the calling, and then he became a powerful leader, intercessor, and prophet. But I also wanted to mention, I dropped it in the Telegram a few days ago. But even in Jeremiah's case, you know, when he was being called, so we see Jeremiah 1, it says, I said, I do not know how to speak. I am too young. But the Lord said to me, do not say I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Don't be afraid of them, for I am with you and I will rescue you, declares the Lord. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. See, today I appoint you over nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant. And then it also says, for verses 17 through 19, it says, get yourself ready, stand up, and say to them, whatever I command you, do not be afraid by them, or I will terrify you before them. Today I have made you a fortified city, an iron pillar and a bronze wall to stand against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, its officials, its priests, and the people of the land. They will fight against you, but will not overcome you, for I am with you and will rescue you. So that just pretty much shows that, like, you are not too young, too old, or unqualified for what God has called you to do. He will make a way for you and protect you in your calling. And like, that's what we talked about previously before as well. Like, he doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the unqualified. So even if you think like, oh, I'm not ready for this, obedience is more important, because he will make you ready. He will mold you and he will guide you. So yes, let us continue. So I have a few discussion questions, guys. Of course, like always, if you want to share, use the raise your hand tool. That is greatly appreciated. But also, you can type your answers in the chat if you feel more comfortable as well. So, number one, How are you actively using your current skills, whether in the workplace, your family, or your local community, to fulfill a greater purpose? Number two, what are the most common distractions, such as comparison, fear of failure, or busyness, that pulls your energy away from your primary calling? Number three, if you evaluate your calendar over the last month, does your time and resource allocation reflect the divine calling you claim to have? Why or why not? Number four, is there a good opportunity you are pursuing that might actually be a distraction from the best thing God has called you to focus on? Number five, how has your relationship with God been affected by the pace at which you pursue your calling? That's a good one. And number six, how has your understanding or focus on your calling evolved? And how do you respond when God shifts your assignment or focus area? All right, these questions cause for some self-reflection. So who wants to start? Oh, go ahead, Marnie.
I like this question. All of them are great. Um, is there a good opportunity you are pursuing that might actually be a distraction from the best thing God has called you to focus on? I think in life you're gonna always get opportunities. I think those are tests too. I think not everything is like gruesome that comes your way. Some things are just to see if you are focused, if you are disciplined. Opportunity is going to come, and it's for you to be so engulfed in um, like teammates with God. It was another word that I was trying to use, but that's the simplest one that I could come. Like so engulfed and so like tag team with God that even when these opportunities come, you are able to say this is a good opportunity, but what God has me working on now is what's best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I can I could definitely relate to that question. Something just happened recently with a play, and I know it was God. It was a play that I feel like would have been really good for me. It was for Color Girls, but I was struggling with that play because I watched the movie once and it was something that I just couldn't digest ever again. It was the most horrific thing that I ever seen in my life. And so I got approached to do that play, and I already was kind of like feeling a way about it. And he asked me, "What do you feel about it?" I told him my honest opinions. And he was like, "So, do you think you'll be able to do it?" And my inner self said, "You should probably pass on this." And I told him yes. But everything in my body was saying no. So I'm like, you know what? This could be a challenge for me. Let me try to push through because it could just be me being nervous. And so the play is very vulgar. It's very raw, but it's a really good play. But I also said in this career, I really wanted to be picky on what I decide to do and what it's saying, the contents, because I'm working on my language. And so I'm like, well, maybe I could ask the director, could I use other words? Or maybe I could just do it this time and then, not do it no more. And it's just like, I'm going to just try to push it through. And the last time I met with them, the schedule was going to be very strict. Every day, it's a 2 week turnaround, having to push it out. And I already knew, I'm like, this is going to be so overwhelming, but I'm going to push through because after this, then I'm going to chill out. It's always an after this for me. And the last time I met with him in my mind, I said, God, if this is not for me, take it away from me. Just take it away. I'm not even thinking about resume. Just take it away from me. Just don't even. And they didn't even call back. And then somebody came to me with another opportunity that wasn't as stressful. It's a reading, and I've never done a reading, and the language is not, there's no language in the contents. And so we had one rehearsal. The reading is Saturday, and it's not compromising the integrity. So this stood out. All of the questions are amazing, but this stood out. And throughout my life, I've been challenged with things like that, and I'll say yes to stuff, and it'll be like a burden. But I'm learning to hear that thing. Every one of us have that thing, and none of it sounds the same. It's different for all of us because we're different. And just to follow that thing, and I found it. So now I know when I'm moving around and somebody's offering me something, to stick with the best thing for me. It's that thing. So that's it.
That was good. I was gonna ask you like how well with your answer, how do you know like what is good and what's great? Like how do you know the difference? But your story that was really good. Um yeah, like yeah, that was good. That really explained number four perfectly. And something that was really important too is to not compromise your beliefs or your morals because something good comes, your way, like not just jumping on the first bandwagon that you see and kind of taking that ride, but to sit back, assess, and be wise in your decision making. And also, like you said, kind of make sure you do have that partnership with God and you are consulting Him in everything that you do because y'all are a team. Like you and God, you should be looking at God as like a teammate. Like y'all are in this together. So that was very good. And it also made me think I was watching this podcast. I don't know if y'all are familiar with I think his name is Emmanuel Hudson, and he used to be like really like big on like YouTube and Vine, I think like back in the day, but then he did like Wildin' Out for a couple of years, and I don't think he does Wildin' Out anymore. I'm not really sure, but he was pretty much saying like with his new walk with God, he has to turn down like a lot of movies and shows and gigs because of the language, because like he doesn't curse anymore. So it's like um, when he, I guess, got chosen for a role and he was reading the script and he was like, it's too, like, I just can't do it. Like, it's too much. And he told the, I guess, the writer or the director or whatever. And he was like really nervous about it because he wanted to do he wanted the job, but he didn't want to compromise his beliefs. And because he was being obedient to, God, he talked to the writer, the director, whoever, and he was like, you know what? I trust you. You can do whatever you feel is comfortable to you. You can do whatever feels natural to you. So he was able to still secure that role without having to compromise himself or his beliefs. And I just feel like that's just so good because a lot of times we do try to like change ourselves or compromise around certain people or in certain environments or certain situations to make others feel comfortable when we shouldn't do that. And I find myself doing that too. Like I'll be trying to make other people feel comfortable or kind of go with the flow. But if that's not me, then that's just not me. Even though I rarely do that, but I rarely do that. But in certain instances, like I don't want to say anything that offends people, or do anything that offends people. But I am a very secure person in my beliefs and my do's and my don'ts. Like I don't drink. That's something like I just don't. Like you can't peer pressure me to drink, to smoke, to do none of that stuff. Like that's just really not me. But it does depend. Go ahead, Marnie.
Real quick, I did want to add, I think that's part of our Christian journey, walking with God, is being firm in it because God is not no noodle. Like when you read in the context, and I'm not going to take a lot of time, when you read in the context, God was like reckless at the mouth, and not reckless like, F this, F that. No, he let it be known like, you're a liar. You're a this. Like he called it out.
Right.
So in situations that we are um, going through, um, be it the entertainment industry, be it the whatever industry, you're constantly going to be tested about your character, your moral value, and your like who you are as a person. You can sell out in so many different ways. And although it looks small, and even in my mind, I'm new in it. And it's like I'm new in it, but I'm not. I said and I heard that whisper, don't compromise. And you have to be careful because the greater part of you of what's going ministry for some of us, other things, you have to be careful what things you, because you'll be characterized in just those roles, and we get stuck like that. So my sons have an agent, and I sent them some pictures, and she was like, would they be willing to cut their facial hair? So I asked them both, and they was like, yeah, we'll cut it for a role. And so she was like, I say that because I don't want them to be the stick up guy. I don't want them to just be the ghetto guy, the drug dealer. And so in industry, they'll put you like, okay, he look like a drug dealer. Oh, he'll be a real good drug dealer here. He'll be a this. And so you have to be careful how you present yourself, and putting that in this context. How we present ourselves is major. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just can't do certain things. We can't have certain comments. We can't say certain things because that will be like that thing is very important and is very worth the while. And so even in this, I'm just thinking like, girl, how you finna be doing this? And you talking, telling people you don't want to curse, you don't want to wear this, you don't want to wear that. And I thought about a lot of black actresses that have done those roles, like Angela Bassett. She doesn't take certain roles. You know, a lot of other respectable people, they just stand on business, and God's still gonna provide. And so I'm like, well, I mean, if I don't get it, I don't get it. I mean, I'm not willing to put myself out there just to be like, okay, this looks good on your resume. I care more about what I look like on resume with God than
Period.
man.
Yeah. And you got to be like a strong individual to be able to, like you said, be firm and just withstand that, especially like with the noise of the world. Because for me, like, even though my struggles aren't like drinking and smoking and all of the things, there are still things that I do struggle with that I slip up, and it's just like, dang, like, you can't, like you said, you can't be out here moving, like, doing that, when you know at the end of the day what you are supposed to do. So it does, of course, what they say, like, a righteous man falls how many times, but get back up. Like, even when you do have those moments, you have to be able to pivot immediately and, get back on track. So, yes, does anybody else want to share anything, a question or two that stood out to them? Go ahead, Mom.
I'll say for me, number two kind of ties into number three. I've been blessed to not really, I'm saying I've grown, not to really worry about comparison or fear of failure and doubt. I know a lot of people are scared to fail in front of other people, so they don't even try. Um, so I would say that's not my issue. Like, I don't care about failing in front of everybody, because I understand that if you don't try, without failure, you can never have success.
Right.
I'll say that. But what my issue is going into number three, I would say, especially when they talk about allocating time, I do find myself procrastinating, especially when I feel like the assignment is overwhelming. But that also goes into number five, which says, well, how does my relationship with God affect the pace at which I pursue my calling? So when I do find myself procrastinating or putting things off, or not properly prioritizing, doing other tasks before I tackle the task that I'm supposed to be tackling, I also go back to reflection. Just, okay, well, why am I procrastinating? Am I overwhelmed? Am I allowing fear and doubt to creep in? And then, I go into a meditative state or a talk with God, and I realize that this is an assignment that He gave to me, and He gave it to me, like you guys were saying. He believed that I can do it. He knew that I could do it. If He said that I can do it, I can do it. So I don't have to think that it's too overwhelming, or I don't have to think that I can't do it. If God said I can do it, I can do it. So with that being said, if I know that I can do it and I know God has my back, there's no need for me to procrastinate. There's no need for me to feel overwhelmed. I just got to get to it. I got to get it done. And when I put myself in a different mindset, like, okay, this has to get done. This is what I was assigned. This is my calling. I don't have to be scared. I don't have to doubt. I don't have to procrastinate. I don't have to stall, because I know I can do it. God got my back. So that helps me pick up the pace.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. For also, I want to touch on number 5 as well. I feel like with me, like before I gotten like super close and went, I guess, like when I was a baby Christian or whatever, I guess you could say, I was more goal oriented and focused on my goals more than growing the relationship with God. Of course, I still had the same practices. I always pray, and I always journal and do the devotionals, but I guess my mind, it was just still so busy, and I was doing a lot of other stuff to where I couldn't fully focus or give 100%, I guess, and that caused me to make a lot of mistakes, and to butt my head a few times, and just kind of, I guess, run around in circles when it came to like pursuing my calling or pursuing my desires or the things that I wanted to do. But as I've grown my relationship with God, I feel like when I am pursuing my calling, it's more calm. It's more like it's not rushed or just trying to like get the good opportunity, rather than the great, just to get something or just to make some money or just to say that I did it. It's more focused, I guess you could say. It's more focused, and it's more foundation based. So now, since then, it has also made me like grow my confidence in God, our relationship, and my calling. So now, like, I don't have to like try to go after just or settle for the good opportunity. Like, I can take my time and I can build, because I know that, like what she said, like I know what God has in store for me. It's good, it's amazing, it's better than the plans that I have for myself. So I'm just learning more and more each day to like trust Him, be patient with Him, be patient with myself while still working diligently. Like, I'm not being lazy, but I'm more, I don't know, calm, I guess you could say, in a sense, when it comes to the calling. And then that's also something that I pray about daily. Like, even this morning when I did our opening prayer, it's like, God, just take on the burdens and give me your perfect peace. So now I feel like a more sense of peace when it comes to my calling, and it's not like rushed, or it doesn't feel like overwhelming. Even though at times I do feel like, oh my God, like I do have so many ideas, so many plans, so many things that I want to pursue. But then also I remind myself that like everything will fold out or happen the way it's supposed to. So I can just chill and kind of let God take the wheel, and I sit in the passenger seat and kind of let things happen or unfold the way that they are supposed to. So yeah. And then when it does come to understanding or focusing on my calling, when God shifts my assignments or my focus areas, sometimes I feel well, I don't know. Like, I feel like I said before, like, am I doing too much? Like, am I putting too much on my plate? But it's just so crazy how God works things out full circle. And it's like, even the small projects that I started when I was like in high school, or even before that, because y'all know my mom like has been like an entrepreneur, and like she kind of instilled that to me at a young age. She helped me start my cosmetic and my accessory line when I was in like elementary school. So from there, it's like I've created these names or these visions, and then now years later, since I'm sitting down, I'm able to focus on like my calling and God and grow our relationship. Like some of those ideas are coming full circle, and I'm able to kind of work them into what I'm doing now, and it's just so mind blowing because it was like, oh my gosh, like this was your plan for me all along, and everything is just like even like years later, like that was so long ago. Even like me being a senior in high school or junior in high school and coming up with a new look or for my brain, it's like that was so long ago, but now I'm able to kind of see that stuff kind of fold out. It's just like a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Mom.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on. Number 6 as well. The shift in the assignment and how my calling has evolved. So what I say is like when I would be, I guess, on an assignment or I would be in a particular area of my life, I've noticed that sometimes that assignment will be over when it comes to a lot of different things like jobs, relationships, whatever. And I won't end the assignment when God tells me to end the assignment. It seems like um, there are times when He had to end it for me. Like, you know, how you have trouble walking away from certain things, but then God will close that door. So it's like, okay, that's not even an option anymore. So I would accept, okay, well, that assignment is over. It's time for me to move on. But I would say I evolved in a sense that it would have took hindsight at first. Like, okay, I would look back like, oh, okay, well, that assignment was over. I see little signs or flags where that assignment was over. God was trying to tell me it was over, but I wasn't releasing the assignment until He shut that door. And I recognized that in hindsight after the assignment had already passed. But the evolving part comes when me recognizing those signs early now. So like when things are working out in a certain way or things are coming to an end, I think I've learned to recognize that earlier instead of waiting and looking back like, oh dang, that's why that happened like that.
Yeah, and I also feel like everything isn't a like what is it? I forgot. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. But like everything doesn't have to be the final thing, or it doesn't have to be like the thing. You get what I'm saying? Like some things you're meant to just learn from. So like even like I said, when I did like feel like I was running around in circles or bumping my head or making mistakes, I was still able to learn. And sometimes He puts you in environments or seasons. Like even when it came to like my job, I was working at a yoga studio for the longest. Like even when it feels like, okay, God, like this is not, what does this have to do with my calling? Like that environment or that person or whoever, whatever, you could be learning things in that season of your life to take that He wants you to learn to take with you for the bigger things. So, for example, like when I was working at the yoga studio, um, it was like a pretty decent job, not gonna lie, but it did force me to work on my communication skills and my customer service skills and know how to actually talk to people and appease to the customers. And that, of course, is something that you need when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So that in itself was good for me, even though, of course, I didn't see myself working at a yoga studio forever. I didn't want to be like the top manager or, you get what I'm saying? But it's like I was able to learn a few things in that environment to take with me to the rest of my journey. So that's also a good way to kind of understand your calling or how it's evolving and what you should be focusing on at the moment when God does shift your assignment or your environment or whatever the case may be. All right. So I see nobody answer number 3. Do y'all be self-assessing? Maybe y'all are not self-assessing or y'all not evaluating y'all calendar. Y'all know I always self-assess. I feel like you should self-assess like if it's not monthly, quarterly, definitely. Go ahead, Mom.
Number 3 was my question. I answered it.
Oh,
I said procrastination. As far as my allocating my time.
Oh, I thought you were saying, okay, I thought it was kind of going for number two. Go ahead, Marnie.
Okay, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Okay, so number two, I feel like I struggle with my distraction would be sometimes, dang, if I would have been doing this such and such time ago, man, I'm running out of time. Like, dang, I feel like I should have known. Like that's a major distraction for me. It's not so much other people because I don't have a other people thing. I just that's not one of my things. I have a me thing, and so for me, it's like I've found myself, and I catch it more now, going down that hole of, man, if it was 2 months ago and I would have done this, or last year I wish, and it's like you can't do that because you are it's you can't. You just can't. Like I guess. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
No, you can finish.
That was kind of it. That was it. That was
Okay.
it.
All right. I'm just trying to see the questions that we didn't. We pretty much touched on everything, other than number one. So, does anybody want to touch on number one? Someone who hasn't shared yet, preferably. I don't know if y'all are shy or y'all are asleep, but let's see. Number one is, how are you actively using your current skills, whether in a workplace, your family, or your local community, to fulfill a greater purpose? Does anybody want to touch? It could be brief, or like I said, you can always put it in the chat as well, and then we'll continue. Go ahead, Marnie.
So I feel like with that question, and I actually was gonna go to that one, was for me, um, what my main source of income was is not, it wasn't, it was to get me to other things. So my client base, the trust that I have, um, the trust that I have accomplished with my current client base spreads into other things that I'm supposed to be doing, which causes them to trust me in that journey, if that makes sense. Um, because I never wanted to do what I'm doing now. It was just for fun. You know what I mean? Well, I thought it was for fun, but it's always like a purpose. And I was kicking and screaming about it. And so that is allowing me to touch more people that I probably wouldn't have known if
Mm-hmm.
I was doing what I felt like I really wanted to do. And so now anything that I step into, being careful, like with your character and all of that, anything that I step into, those people are following because of the work and the things and the trust that I have built over decades.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was just gonna say for number one, mainly I'm currently trying to use my skills in my family. Like I have a passion for all things health, and then of course financial literacy. So my main thing is, getting my family on board. But eventually, I do want that to spread further than just my family into the community. So
Mm-hmm.
as I'm trying to, I guess I can use the family as an experiment. As I'm trying to get them on board, I'll figure out how to structure a way to make it more wider spread, I guess.
Yes. Yes, and same as well. Yeah, I feel like my started with my family and even like local community with you guys to kind of bring awareness to certain things, like she said, health, finances, um, a better quality of life, growing your relationship with God, and just elevating yourself as well. So that's really the goal and the mission behind it. So yes, we got some work to do. That's why I'm like, share the call, y'all. Share the call. Get some people on here, especially if you are taking things away from the call. It's important that we do spread positivities because there's so much negativity going on. All right, so this is the last slide. One of the greatest battles believers face is staying focused while waiting on God's promise to come to pass. Life has a way of distracting us with delays, disappointment, pain, warfare, criticism, and exhaustion. But God never told us to focus on the problem. He told us to trust His word. The enemy wants you distracted by what you see. God wants you to be anchored in what He said. And that's such a big thing. Like, I literally have to tell myself that all the time. Like, I don't care what I see, I don't care what my physical eyes are telling me. I know what God has in store for me, and that is the truth. So, we do have a few different scenarios in the Bible where this stuff is displayed. So, you guys can take a screenshot of this. I will also um, drop this in the Telegram channel as well. But it's just, there are different stories and how, you know, they were positively affected. So we see that Abraham and Sarah, God promised Abraham and Sarah a son, but years passed with no child. Their bodies aged, hope looked impossible, the situation looked dead, but God waited until the situation was beyond human ability, so nobody could take credit except Him. Sometimes God allows the process to stretch your faith before He releases the promise. And I feel like that was so good. Even with Joseph, he received a dream from God, but after the dream came betrayal, rejection, slavery, prison, and false accusations, um, arose, and everything looked opposite of the promise. But Joseph stayed faithful through every season. Prison was not Joseph's ending. It was preparation, which we just talked about that as well. So don't judge God's plan by your current location. And then I'm going to just do one more. David. He was anointed king as a teenager, but he did not become king immediately. After the oil came hiding, battles, pressure, running from Saul, and isolation. David learned how to trust God before he ever sat on the throne. That was a big thing. And sometimes we might think we're ready because we're checking off all the boxes, but God knows. God knows. And that's what I have to tell myself. Like, I say all the time, like, I'm just so ready. I'm just so out there. I'm so ready to just fly my wings like a butterfly and just, really step into the promised land. But it's like, he probably like, girl, are you really ready? Probably not, right? So you definitely have to learn how to trust Him before you get what it is that you're searching for. So many people want the promise, but they don't want the preparation. So you got to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the work, to get what I want or to get what He has called me to do? So these were just a few stories in the Bible. That's why I said y'all got to read the Bible for yourselves. Like, don't just, it's important that you come to Bible study, of course, and have a community and have these discussions, but also that you're reading the Word for yourself and getting a different revelation and understanding of the Bible. So, yes. And then we also have Jochebed, Hannah, and Mary as well. So, yes, you guys can take a screenshot. And then, like I said, I'll also drop it in the Telegram. All right, so our closeout declaration for today, you guys can say it with me, say it on mute. Oh, Marnie, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't know if that was the old hand or new hand. I was going to ask you that. I forgot that fast. But I just seen you put your hand down.
That's okay. I just want to say real quick. I invited a guest online, and I met her by mistake. And I got a praise report for her. Look, not that I'm trying to put her stuff out there, but I do think it was amazing. She was out and about, busy. She has a mobile notary business for anybody that needs stuff. She's really, really good and always dependable. She was having a stroke and didn't even know.
Oh, wow.
Out to eat. And she is here with us today.
Yes.
So I invited her because she's like definitely one of us, and um, just so she can have the tools to pour back into her and her business and what she's supposed to be doing, because only her and God know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give her some godly love about being here in the land of the living, and God is a sparer, and I think that was just more of a pay attention. Pay attention. You know, God got to slow us down sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times it be drastic to get our
Mm-hmm.
attention. So that's who Ava is.
Thank you for sharing the call, Marnie, and thank you for joining Ava. I hope that you did enjoy it. I am going to really quickly just drop a feedback form in this chat as well. I'll ask Marnie to send it to you, but if you could just click that link really quickly and fill it out for me, it takes like 2 seconds just to see how you like the call and your thoughts overall. But I do really appreciate you for waking up and coming to see us. This is what community is about. Thank you, Marnie, again. So, yes, for the rest of you guys, if you are on here and you know that somebody can take something from this call, definitely share it out. Send them the Telegram channel link, the Google Meets link, everything. So, yes, I appreciate you guys for that. And if you haven't completed the form yet, which I think everybody on here has, I did drop it in the chat. All right, so closing declaration. Like I said, you guys can say it with me. Screenshot it, say it to yourself, mute, whatever you got to do. But this is important. So I will stay focused on the promise. I will not be moved by delays. I will not be discouraged by the process. What God spoke over my life will come to pass. I trust His timing. I trust His plan. I trust His word because God is too faithful to fail. So make sure y'all are. Oh my God. Y'all did not remind me to do our affirmations this morning. Oh, that is so awful. I forgot to do the affirmations. Okay, we're gonna do them really quickly. Really quickly. But it is important to just speak good things over yourself. Like I said, it's just we live in a negative world. You know, everything is always negative. Even with me, like I was literally praying about this last night. Like, why do my mind just automatically go to the first? I think worst case scenario, all like first always, and it's just like no, we have to affirm positivity to ourselves so that we can get used to it. So even if you can't, even if you don't believe it deep down, is some doubt still in your heart. You have to get those reps in. You have to keep repeating these things to yourself so that it is second nature. So let's say the affirmations. I move with softness, intention, and love. I am guided by God's divine wisdom, not the noise of the world. My steps are ordered, my mind is clear, and my spirit is at peace. I am a child of God, chosen and deeply loved. I am an heir to His promises, and all that is meant for me finds me with ease. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted with purpose and intention. I walk in unwavering faith, even when I cannot see the full path. I trust that everything is working for my good. God fights on my behalf, and I am always protected. I am a survivor. I beat the odds. Every challenge I face strengthens and elevates me. I rise with resilience, courage, and confidence. I live a life of abundance, prosperity, and overflow. My resources are limitless because I serve a God who created everything. I lack nothing. Everything I need is already aligned for me. I walk boldly in my purpose, anchored in faith and guided by truth. My life reflects God's goodness, and I am grateful for all that is and all that is coming. All right, thank you guys for joining. Um, Monday, I'm going to get somebody to read these affirmations, so I think we're gonna like rotate, and I'm not gonna be the only one reading them. I think that you guys should read them as well. So, yes, that's what we're gonna start doing next week. But I just pray over today for all of us. I pray that we are filled with good health. We are not binded by sickness. We are just growing in our walks with God every single day and trusting in His timing. And I pray for divine focus for all of us. We are not distracted by the noise of the the world, but we are rooted in our purpose and in God. I pray that anything that meant to distract us, tear us down, hold us down, will be uprooted out of our lives, and we can just fully focus on the calling that God has placed in front of us. So again, I pray that you guys have an amazing day, week, and hope to see you guys on Monday. Bye, guys.